All right, so I definitely love this wagon. It's a whole lot easier than carrying all this gear. A lot easier on my knees and back. Anyway, if you're interested, definitely a nice wagon to carry all your stuff. I will look it up and put a link in the description. But I do love it. Carries a whole bunch of gear. Multiple backpacks, case, tripods, all that stuff I would normally carry and can probably still do, but definitely prefer the wagon. All right, let's level the camera. All right, so everything looks good. I got a, looks like a small, I got like a small Pilates class going inside the gazebo, but they probably won't be that predominant in the frame, and it shouldn't be a big deal. But I definitely like the clouds and all the color in the sky today, so let's give her a go. See if we can get metered up here. All right, let's get metered up here. Make sure we got +1. And let's see, make sure we're on spot mode. And make sure we're on +1 for the center ND. We're in EV mode, which is where I want to be, ISO 160. And let's see where we're at here. All right, so I got the gazebo at 13 basically 13.5. And the sky at 15, almost 16 in some of its brightest spots. So if I want to put the gazebo in zone 1, I'm going to shoot that at 12.5 EV. All right, so let me get my app out, convert that. Okay, so I'm going to shoot this at 12.5, measured at 13.5, and I want to put one more stop in there, so I want to go 12.5. I got ISO 160 right there, so 60th of a second. Let's shoot f22. So 15th of a second, a little bit more than f22. All right, triple check. I got EV 12.5, ISO 160, 15th of a second at about 22 1/3. So let's dial that in. Don't fall in the water. All right, so 15th of a second. Just a hair more than f22. Got that dialed in. And cock the shutter. Okay, shutter cocked. Okay, here we go, 15th of a second. ISO 22 1/3. I'm gonna wait for a few of these people to clear. It's an urban scene, not a really big deal, but So it looks a little busy on the right side there. All right, here we go. On three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it started raining right after I took that shot, so I had to pack everything up and get the heck out of Dodge. But I came back this morning to finish the rest of the video and talk about the rest of the things I wanted to talk about and show you the camera. But funny enough, it is overcast again today, but that day that I took the shot was definitely a lot better. There was much more character in the clouds. But all right, so let's get to the camera. It is a Fujica G617. And I was surfing around on the internet a couple weeks ago, and I ran into this camera. Super good condition. I mean, it's near new looking for a price that I just could not believe. So it came with the camera, the lens, the center ND, the lens cap, the hood, and the case. So I bought it really quick, figuring that if I didn't like it, I could always resell it, but I just couldn't believe it, so just had to buy it. All right, so let's go back to episode 1. You can look that up on my YouTube channel. Look up E01 and you'll find that episode where I came out here to test my Chamonix 5x7 on the very same shot. And I said in that video that I wasn't really interested in a box style 617 camera. Not to say that I wouldn't have one, which is sort of what I have now. Not sort of, but I do. But that's what I meant by box style camera. It's just a box, no adjustments, and it's got a lens on the front. So the advantage of my Chamonix setup is I have all the technical things you need to do, rise, fall, shift, all that stuff, and it's built much better for a specific technical setup for a 6x17 camera, and it works great. I've shot it quite a bit and really love that camera. But this one I think might be just a more fun, faster setup, more of a serendipitous style 6x17 setup, so I thought I would give it a try. So let me show you, see if I can show you what it looks like through the viewfinder here. All right, let's get the video going and see if I can stick the camera in this hole, and yeah, I guess you can. All right, so so the first thing, there's like see at the bottom there's a gun sight, and you're supposed to line it up with the level. And I call it a gun sight because, I don't know, lack of a better term, but it is a sight that you line up with the level, just like that, according to the instructions. And then you look directly up, and that is the center of the frame. So I have it centered on the gazebo, but let me back up just a little bit so you can see the left and right side. I don't know if you can do that on the video and still, I guess you can, just barely. Okay, so there you go. There you can see the left and the right side. So there are no grid lines, and there's no markings really for the center. So it's definitely a, not quite a point and guess, but it's point and be pretty close kind of thing. So we will see how this turns out and how much I use it. But there's your look inside the viewfinder. It's not a rangefinder because you have no way to measure distance, which incidentally, let me show you the front of the camera. So you just have to focus it right here and just use an estimated distance. Just use hyperfocal distance. So on that day I just set it to infinity, and that's how you do it. So there's no way to focus the camera and look through any sort of ground glass, but I have tested this a couple times, and it is very accurate in terms of distance focusing. I just did a couple throwaway rolls in front of the house just to test before I did anything serious. Got them developed real quick, and they came out just fine. So, all right, so let's talk about the camera. All right, so this is as I've already said, the Fujica G617, and it was manufactured in the early 80s before they changed it to Fuji, and it is definitely a product of the 80s. It is a pretty camera to look at if you like that kind of stuff. So, all right, so this level, I added myself. I didn't want to trust the old level on the front of the camera, and I did test it, and the old level is off just slightly. Put it on a known level surface, I should say, and tested it with multiple levels, and this level right here is definitely accurate. All right, so coming around to the front of the camera, you have the viewfinder here, which you look through, which has nothing to do with the lens. You got a Fuji 105mm lens, which is plenty wide enough. You got your focus ring here. You got your shutter here, you can cock it, f-stop, shutter speeds, all that stuff. And then you have your center ND, which is right here, which is definitely, I'm glad it came with the camera because these are not cheap to buy by itself. And I tested it with a light meter, it reduces it by exactly 1 stop. And it does make a difference in the frame itself for vignetting because I tested it both ways. So I'm just gonna leave it mounted on the camera. And then I'm not sure why they have this frame here. I guess it's for, make sure I don't fall in the water here. I guess it's for protection. It makes the camera look kind of cool, but yeah, so that's it. So there's the front of the camera, the lens, and come around to the back again so you can get a good look at it if you're considering one of these. But this thing is in really good condition. I've seen quite a few photos of them out on the internet and they're usually pretty beat up, and this one is definitely in good condition. Incidentally, I marked the back. I buy these little circular masking tape things on Amazon. I get them by the pack, and I write the film that I'm using, and I stick it right on the film back that I'm using. So, in case I don't remember, there's no film in it right now, but I left it there from that day when I was shooting. So, there you go. There's the Fujica G617. Just a good-looking specimen of old photography gear. All right, so let's jump on the computer and take a look at that negative that I shot. At first glance, just from the camera's point of view, I was concerned how accurate that viewfinder is, but it looks to be very accurate. I think I did a pretty good job of centering the gazebo where it needed to be. The camera's level, the image looks level, everything looks really good. So in terms of exposure, the negative itself, I don't really see any hot spots or thin spots except for maybe here in the tree area, but that is to be expected because those are heavy shadows. But yeah, I think I'm overall happy with how that viewfinder looked and how the final image looks. I think I'll be okay using that viewfinder. Just takes an extra couple minutes to make sure that you are centered. It's sort of difficult to look through it, but I think I should be able to get used to it. So let's go ahead and process this image. First thing I'm going to do is select part of the film border and then create a new layer. And then I fill that layer with the foreground color, which is the film border. And then I change the blending mode to divide. And then I create a new inversion layer. And then create a new levels layer. And then all I do is select the midpoint and adjust the red and blue. So I think I go up a little bit on the red, probably about right there. And then the same thing with the blue, except for the opposite direction. Looks good about right there. Let's adjust the white and black point just until it clips. Leave myself a little room. I'll fix the rest in camera raw. All right, let's check the black point. Leave a little bit of room there. All right, so let's go ahead and flatten the image and then go into camera raw. All right, and let's go ahead and zoom in on this scene here just to see color-wise if I need to adjust anything. It's a little too warm, a little too cold, so about right there maybe. Same thing with the tint. I think it was good to begin with, just about right there. Alright, so let's go ahead and use our curve as adjustment. Drop that just a little bit towards the blacks. Let's go up on the whites. Alright, that's starting to look really good. Let's push that just a little bit further. Come on down on the blacks. Alright, everything looks good there. Let's recheck the white and black point. There's whites just before they clip. And let's drop the blacks. You can start to see some black clipping in the image, which is fine. I think that looks really good. Let's, I don't need to add any more contrast. Let's double check this color. I think it looks good about right there. So my original choice was pretty good because I'm at 0 and I like the way that looks. Not too cold, maybe just a little bit more warm. So everything looks good, just like that. All right, that's a good looking image. So that is about where I'd leave it, and then I would crop it. But just for fun, let's do this. Let's click OK, and then let's go ahead and crop it. But I want to convert this to black and white. So the ratio is 3:1. So let's come down here, go up there just a little bit, centered exactly on that pinnacle of the gazebo. All right, that looks good. Come right up to the film border, making sure I'm good from all the way around. Yep, everything looks good there. I'm not including any of the film border. Then I want to come up just a little bit here, just so I don't include any of the border. And yeah, look, so look at the left side here, how much is left, and look at the right side. I'd say the camera was pretty dead on in its centering, so again, very happy with the way the viewfinder looks. So, all right, let me hit enter and crop that and put it back on the screen. Okay, so there's the image. Wow, I really like that. I like the character in the clouds. I like the color, I like the contrast. Very happy with this image. I've shot this a few times, and this is one of the times where the clouds really look good in this photo. And as I said, it started to rain right after this, so I'm glad I was able to catch this. But let's go ahead and go back into camera raw and then switch this to black and white and see what that looks like. So let's hit black and white. And I think the colors are all good, but if I drop the blues just a hair, I should get just a little bit more character out of those clouds. So maybe about right there. And then let's throw a little bit more curves in there. Drop that just a little bit. And yeah, that looks really good. So let's click OK. And we can toggle back and forth right here. So if you look between color and black and white, I'm pretty impressed with both. Again, I'm not sure. Another situation where I'm not sure which one I like better. I think the color looks a little bit better. The color here, it is not distracting, and it helps tell the story of the photo. So I think I like the color a little bit, but I don't know. Then again, the black and white, and I know a lot of you are going, you're cheating, you're converting Portra to black and white, you should just shoot black and white film. Yeah, maybe I agree with you, maybe I don't, but Portra does a very good job on black and white conversions, and I don't really follow any rules in my head or what I can and can't do. It's a creative process, and we all do our own thing. So yeah, for me, I kind of wonder why I would shoot black and white film, but I do, so why I keep toggling back and forth. I think I like the color version, but again, I'm going to get two images out of one. Both stand on their own very well. So yeah, there you have it. I'll leave you on the color version. So again, very happy. The Fuji G617, I think on its first outing, this might be a fun camera. It's a lot quicker and easier to set up, you know, because you just throw the camera on a tripod, center it, and fire. So maybe it might help me shoot a bit more, but the only thing that it's going to miss is you know, rise and fall and those kind of things, but that's not what that camera does. So yeah, very happy with everything. Like the image, like the camera. I would say that this shot was a success, and they are not always a success. I didn't really have any struggles with the shot itself. Sometimes, you know, like the general store and the post office, there's always issues, but wow, yeah, everything is really good here. So all right, well, let me show you the equipment I used in this photo shoot. In this photo shoot, I used a Fujica G617 with a Fujinon SW 105mm f8 and a 77mm Fuji center ND filter, a Sekonic L758 DR light meter, a Manfrotto 3021N tripod and a 3029 head, a 15.75-inch Vello TSR40 threaded shutter release cable, and a 2-axis spirit level with a cold shoe mount. All right, so there you have it. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next time.